Hello and welcome to TRT World. Italy's Interior Minister has confirmed that the Berlin attack suspect has been killed in a shootout with police in Milan. He said there's no doubt it was 24-year-old suspect Anis Amri who was shot dead. A policeman was wounded in the shootout. Amri is suspected of plowing a truck into a Christmas market in Berlin on Monday, killing 12 people and injuring 49. Amri was stopped by police at a checkpoint near the Sesto San Giovanni train station in Milan's suburbs.
The person killed, and this is the result of the investigation, one does in these cases, is without a shadow of a doubt Anis Amri, the suspect of the terrorist attack in Berlin.
Let's cross to Sabina Castelfranco, who's in Rome for us, who's been listening into press conference. Sabina, so what is the latest? Do we have more information about the suspect?
The information that we have has been confirmed. It is Anis Amri, 24-year-old from Tunisia. The Interior Minister, Marco Minniti, gave a press conference this morning confirming that he was the man behind the Berlin terrorist attack. Now, he traveled from France on a train. We do not know how he arrived from Germany to France, but we can assume that he probably traveled by train as well. He came to one of the main stations in Milan, Garibaldi. From there, he traveled on to another station, another area of Milan, Sesto San Giovanni, which is in the outskirts of Milan. At 3 o'clock in the morning, two Italian police officers carrying out routine checks requested that he show them his identification. They asked him for his papers. His reaction was to pull out a .22 caliber gun and to fire. He fired at one of the police officers and wounded him in the shoulder. That police officer, fortunately, has not been seriously injured and is now in the hospital in Monza, a town nearby to Milan, and he's undergoing controls, but is not in a serious condition, we're told. The other police officer immediately reacted and managed to shoot, fire, and he fired at the Tunisian man and killed him. So it is now sure that this man has been killed. He was responsible for the Berlin attacks, and that is how this all developed. It does not appear that the Italians were aware that he was in Italy. However, security is very high at this moment in Italy because this is the Christmas season, and certainly in a country where there is also the Vatican and there are large crowds of people that come to the various churches in Italy.
Yeah, as you said,
there
Italy
is a security that is very, very high.
As you said, as you mentioned, Italy wasn't very aware of the fact that Anis Amri was in Italy. I don't think Germany was either from the press conference held before as we listened to it live. But what could we say more about the neighborhood that he was shot at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Well, this is a neighborhood which is a very, very busy, crowded neighborhood. It is an area where there's a lot of commuting taking place, a lot of immigrants living there as well, because it is in the outskirts of Milan, and obviously much cheaper housing than living in the center of Milan. It is likely that he may have had some connections and that he had come there because he knew some people. We do not know whether these are relatives, whether they were friends. There was no confirmation of this by the Interior Minister in this morning's press conference, so we have no further details as to why he came to Sesto San Giovanni, but certainly we can imagine that he may have had some sort of a protection or some sort of network that could have helped him. It is also a place where he may have been looking to get some false papers. Milan has been known in the past to be a place where many immigrants have tried to get themselves false documentation and so that they can change their identity and travel freely, particularly if they already have a police record. And this man, this Tunisian, already did have a police record in this country.
Yes, to speak about that, he had a past in Italy. He left to Italy illegally by boat in 2011. Also, as you mentioned, he had a prison record there. And Italian sources said that there were efforts to deport him, but authorities said they could not be sure whether he was Tunisian. So he was released merely, asked to leave the country. So that was Sabina Castelfranco, who was in Rome for us, speaking about the press conference held by the Interior Minister, who confirmed the death of the prime suspect of the Berlin attack. Let's go cross over to Berlin. Ira Spitzer is there. And let's get the details on that press conference, as I don't think was mentioned very much. Was there, Ira?
Well, yes, the German government officials there, their spokespeople, fairly defensive, I would say, regarding the circumstances surrounding the death this morning or last night of Anis Amri, the Tunisian man who is believed to be responsible for driving that truck through the crowd at a Berlin Christmas market. And the authorities here are certainly under pressure because they let this person slip away from Germany, leave the country, and travel to Italy. We don't know all the details of the route that he took, but certainly there is criticism of German police and German security officials for letting that happen. And specifically, some details that the German media has been asking about are some surveillance video that apparently the police would have had from a mosque here in Berlin that they had under surveillance, where they did see Anis Amri a few hours after the attack. So, well, that came to light. They didn't see it in real time, but that came to light later that this video existed. So, a question as to how exactly they were not aware that he might go to this place. And then apparently, at least sometime after he was spotted on that video, he made his way to Italy. So that is one thing that is raising a lot of questions here in Germany about the situation. One of the other things that they talked about was, are there other Anis Amris in Germany that are out there, people who they believe could be capable of committing this sort of attack? And we heard there that they estimate there's about 330 people that they are people of relevance that they have under surveillance right now and are trying to prevent future attacks from happening. So a lot of tough questions here to answer in Germany about how the attack happened in the first place, and then how he was able to escape to Italy despite being the focus of this Europe-wide manhunt.
So do you believe they had any idea that he had left the country, Ira? It's
hard to say, but all the reports this morning were that they believed that he was in Berlin. Now, of course, the police don't necessarily reveal every lead that they are following. However, it did seem that from security sources that were talking to German media, it did seem that there was a belief that he was injured, and because of that, he was in Berlin seeking medical attention, or just unable to leave because of the fear of being recognized because of these injuries. So for that reason, there was speculation that he was holed up somewhere in Berlin. We saw lots of police raids, some of them public, some of them not, happening yesterday in Berlin. Obviously, those failed to uncover the suspect because he presumably was not here, but it does not seem, from the information we have right now, and certainly not because of anything, they haven't said anything to the effect that they had an idea that he might have left the country and be in Italy. That seems to have come as a surprise.
So, Ari, what do you think the reaction of the people will be of Berlin? Will there be a relief, a satisfaction, or is it going to be another criticism against Chancellor Angela Merkel?
Well, I think in the short term, there's no doubt that people here in Berlin, and as well as the rest of the country, will be relieved For one, that this person is not on the streets of Berlin or hiding out somewhere in Berlin, with the potential of staying in contact with people and who might commit another attack. So I think there'll be relief, certainly, that situation is over. People can enjoy the holiday season perhaps again. However, looking more longer term, and especially to the federal elections in Germany next year, the Angela Merkel's government will certainly have to sort of dig themselves out of a bit of a hole here because of the way that this whole investigation has unfolded. They've continually said, we're doing everything we can. We couldn't have done anything better. We followed all the leads to the best of the ability. We thank all the authorities, and that may be true, but from the public's perspective, there's certainly a lot of people that will say, well, that doesn't make any sense. How can you say that you did everything you could when we can point to a few measures that seem questionable? So there will be some pressure on the government in these elections to demonstrate that they are really have a hold of Germany's security situation, because that's a major issue of public concern right now.
So do you think we'll be seeing changes to the open door policy of Merkel?
Well, to be honest, we've already seen significant changes to Germany's asylum policies over the past year. They've tightened various laws. So in some ways, the open door policy that Germany was known for, I believe it was last October of 2015, when they said that anyone could come and seek asylum, that has been a thing of the past for quite a while. The country has been moving away from just saying that anyone who wants to seek refuge should come here. They've really tried to discourage people. But I think what we might see is a real focus on deportations now, and really just not granting people asylum, to rejecting asylum requests very quickly. What happens here is that people come in who have little chance of seeking asylum, like Anis Amri, for instance. Most people from Tunisia are not granted asylum, but they are able to stay while the process of asylum goes through, and they can appeal the decisions and all kinds of things. So I think we're going to see a real crackdown, or a push for a real crackdown on the types of situations where people can sort of stay in the country indefinitely, even if they're not granted asylum.
So Ira, let's also remember what happened actually on Monday. We've been talking about the prime suspect, what actually happened on Monday at the Berlin Christmas market.
So shortly after 8 p.m. local time on Monday evening, Anis Amri was driving a truck that he appears to have hijacked from a Polish trucker, and he drove this truck, this massive, large truck, into a crowded Berlin Christmas market, killing 12 people and wounding dozens others. He also is believed to have been in a fight with that Polish passenger right up until the last minute, and before stabbing and shooting and killing the Polish driver. And many people think that the death toll could have been far worse had perhaps the Polish passenger not tried to prevent the attack from taking place. So drives the truck into the crowded Christmas market, setting off, of course, a scene of absolute panic and chaos. And in that chaos, it appears that he was able to escape. Some of the other people at the scene chased down a different person, a Pakistani asylum seeker, and he actually was in custody, was taken into custody that night, while Anis Amri left the scene, presumably, and was spotted on this video footage at this mosque a few hours later. So that was the scene of Monday night's terror attack here in Berlin at one of the city's most beloved and well-known Christmas markets in the Charlottenburg neighborhood of the city.
Thanks for that, Ira Spitzer.